as you provide, for the rain that you provided for B County. We ask you for an abundance of more rain. We thank you for watching over all the work that we do here, guiding us in everything. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. And please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the Texas Pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Excellent. You did. Thank you. I appreciate that. No obstructions helps with a fair recitation. Did you see under agenda item number 2 how I almost redesignated myself? That was a big error.
I saw that.
Try to stay on track now, folks. We're at agenda item number 4. This is recognition of visitors. This isn't public comment. If anybody wishes to provide a public comment, that agenda item will come up in just a few minutes. However, at recognition of visitors, if there's anybody who doesn't intend to speak on a particular agenda item, doesn't intend to provide a public comment, but still would like their name and or their entity to be recorded in the county's minutes, now is the time to indicate so by raising your hand. No pressure. If nobody wants to do that, that's fine. And the recognition of visitors is merely this. Thank you all for being here. Please come back. Is there anybody who'd like to identify themselves for the record this morning? Yes, ma'am.
Hi. My name is Clarissa Bogan. I'm with the Beer Nursing Home. I just started. I am the new marketing director. They haven't had one for quite a while, so I'm just trying to get our name out there as far as what we do and what we can offer the community. If anybody has any questions, you can get with me afterwards. We are the nursing home that is in front of the sheriff's office, kind of cat corner to the hospital.
Excellent. Thank you, ma'am. Is there anybody else? Hearing none, we'll move on to Commissioner's Court opening remarks. Commissioner Olivares, you win by attrition.
Okay, that's not a problem. Good morning, everyone. As most everyone is aware, we are having a challenge with water. So I held a town hall meeting in Papalote because that's where their first area of concern is coming from, a lot of the residents there. Anyhow, I held a town hall meeting. The primary goal was to listen to the concerns, not solve any problems that the county would actually jump in and do. So that was the whole purpose of the meeting, was just to, hey, let's listen, let's have an understanding what are the really big problems you're having with. And then, of course, as everyone aware, in any type of problem-solving situation, before you can solve a problem, you got to really understand what the issues are. And the residents are having a little bit different issue than from the farmers and the irrigation people, so very good there. Now, just some general information that I provided at the town hall. I gave an overview on how aquifers work, provided different information on some of the challenges that could be faced in the future. So we covered a little bit of that. The key thing is that the county does not purchase or sell water. That's a big thing I think the residents need to be aware of, or the county, that at least that I'm not aware of. And then the other big challenge is, you know, the Constitution does say that everyone has the right to capture water. So there are a lot of issues that we started getting into that really, you know, the Constitution says that, maybe it needs to be changed. But right now, it's a major state problem that needs to be addressed. I also educated the individuals there on the different types of wells, residential versus irrigation well. They have a different meaning, different process, and the irrigation wells do draw a lot more water, but it's only for a short period of time. Now, a lot of arguments, I could say, or difference of opinion on how that should be done. Most of the resident wells there in that location, and most of B County, is between 50 and 100 feet of water, so it depends on where your water depth is. We are in a major drought. We are going to have a challenge drawing on some of this water. As everyone is aware, Corpus Christi is in the process of drilling 4 new wells. They're currently installing 30 miles of 48-inch pipelines. They're drilling some pretty deep wells, but these are kind of a short-term fix to the overall problem. So hopefully we'll continue working that. the key driver behind all this, TCEQ is in charge of all of our water. So they're a driving force behind everything that we do. Also, we had a detailed discussion with the Groundwater Conservation Group, and great information they provided. Some felt it could have been more, but they were limited on what they could say, only because of pending lawsuits are starting to take place, so they were really restricted on what they could do. You know, we are looking for a common solution. It's going to take some time. The city of Beeville is addressing water issues. You know, they're currently drilling some brackish water wells, and they're going to address on how they process that. The water is going to be drawn from a little bit deeper from the Jasper aquifer. But currently, right now, all of our water is coming from the same system that Corpus Christi uses, which is the Mathis Lake Choke Canyon, which everyone is fully aware it's very, very low. Skidmore, Tynan water districts, I've been informed that currently there are no issues. There's no major concerns with the water, getting water to the residents, so that's a good thing. Unfortunately, you know, the big driver during this town hall meeting, there's just not a whole lot that county government can do at this time. Now, we want to work, and I think we're going to support other counties, but right now the county cannot tell other counties what to do and what they cannot do, but we can definitely support. And, you know, that is a big concern. God willing, we need rain, bottom line. So the other thing that happened while I was awake, I did attend a Texas Oil and Gas Association roundtable session. Great session. But basically, I just want to give a high-level overview. There was a list of panelists from various operators and service companies that were there. The big thing there we're addressing on how they're going to handle water situation. They're going to do that by water recycling, the bringing in produced water that they use for produced water by transporting it in. They're going to look at improving their infrastructure. They're also reducing the amount of freshwater usage. You know, they also discussed on how the drought conditions are affecting their operations, and also the need for innovation in water treating. And also they're looking into long-term planning on securing water in the industry. I mean, they play a major role. You know, I know there's some differences of opinion, and, you know, depending on which side of the track you're from, you can have a difference of opinion, but, you know, without these large companies drilling or for the processes they're doing, I mean, it provides big dollars to our tax base, and if you cut that out, our tax bases will be compromised. So anyhow, it's a big discussion, more than to discuss here in this overview. On the Silver Creek Bridge, we're going to have a meeting this month to finalize a review or look at our various designs option and cost. We may have to tweak a little bit on some of the bridges there in Silver Creek, only because of the cost, and we're finding out that it may not need as a robust system as we initially thought. So we're going to have some meetings on that. Once I have that information formalized, I'm going to hold another town hall meeting to keep the people in Papalote informed on what's happening with the design of the bridge. On the Toledo Street Jail repurposing, a little bit of project update. The project is going well, but with any major project, if you've been involved with, you will have a few challenges. We currently have a challenge with one of our contractors, but we've got that resolved, and hopefully we'll continue to move forward with that. So with that, I'll pass it back to you, Commissioner.
Well, thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone had a great Easter weekend. And let me start off by going over the road and bridge. On County Road 416, we've had a low water crossing area that has been a problem for quite a few years. And finally, Road and Bridge went out there and they took care of it. They dug out that part, put in some culverts that we didn't have before, and they fixed the situation because all that was blowing out the neighbor's fence when we did get rain, and it would wash brush down the fence line. So we've got that taken care of. I had many more calls on TxDOT about them cutting on the sides of the road and mulching. You know, I'm sure everybody got some of those, but yes, they are. That is a contractor that's working for TxDOT. They are cutting the branches and they are mulching on site. They're not hauling them anywhere. Had two different meetings with the Bee Development Authority, and today during public comment I've asked our Executive Director Michael Blair to come make a public comment, and he'll share with you some of the new highlights that are going on out there at the Bee Development Authority. Had another meeting with Protec, with the people that put in our boiler system. I know Mr. Isagiri had brought in some invoices to my attention, and they were quite big. And then we corrected some of the billing issues. They were under warranty, and there was about a $5,000 difference that Mr. Isagiri caught for the county in our favor. So we got that taken care of and got it resolved, and they're still working on some of the problems here with the boiler system. Thank you, John. Mr. Jimison is still working on the illegal dumping on Mesquite Street, and that is in a phase right now where we're waiting for the owner to respond back to the JP or to the court. So that's where the illegal dumping is at right now. And least but not last, I want to give a big shout out to some former BISD students that are representing their colleges and universities at the National Powerlifting Competition, and that was in New Orleans. Emily Olivares, Anika Gonzalez, Bianca Carrizales, and Serena Serrano. They're representing Texas A&M, Midland University, and UTSA. And they competed in the Nationals, collegiate powerlifting. They represented, congratulations on representing both our higher education schools and the B County community. A big shout out to them. And with that, Judge, pass.
Commissioner?
Thank you, sir. And since Commissioner Lenny's not here, do I get his time also?
Certainly, of course.
appreciate
We all
that.
looking forward
Just
to
settle down out there.
regale us.
We're gonna
Take
be-
your time, take a deep breath, everybody.
Not a problem.
Sit back and relax.
To piggyback with Commissioner Oliveris on the water issue, in 2018, the Extension Service had a, let's call it a water class here in Beeville at the Extension office, and they brought people in. You brought in a water sample, you paid, you had the sample tested, you did this. And at the end of the program, they presented a booklet that talked about water. I think you have one now. Some things that stood out to me in that booklet, have you ever wondered how an aquifer gets recharged? How does the water get underground? Okay, when you're driving around San Antonio or Austin, you'll see a sign on the highway, Balcones Recharge Zone. Okay, in your mind now, look at soils. You've got some soils that water goes through real easy. They're gravelly type soils. It goes directly to the aquifer, right down to the limestone where the aquifer is. Others go very, very slow. One thing that stood out to me in that book, it said that some aquifers, it took 27,000 years ago is when they were formed. 27,000 years ago. And they're not recharging. Whatever soil formation that was above that aquifer 27,000 years ago is gone. So that aquifer, however big it is or small it is, when that water's taken out of it, that's it. There's not going to be any recharge. So water is a infinite but a finite resource. There's only so much. You can only use it so much. It's my understanding that the Trinity aquifer is under the Evangeline aquifer, which is a little deeper. We're blessed in this part of the country and part of Texas. We have a beautiful aquifer here, the Gulf Coast aquifer. It recharges up, starts recharging up near Pettus. I've got a ranch near the children's home, and there was a waste material project going in from the oil company, and that's when we found out that that's where the aquifer recharged. That's how we were able to stop that waste material from going in, because they were going to put it right where the aquifer recharged. It's an old caliche pit. That's where the water goes right in the aquifer. So appreciate your water. Don't waste it. There's only so much. It's going to get real serious here in South Texas real quick. So on that, I'll move to something else. Let's talk about our screw
For a
worms.
second, I thought you were going to stop, and I was like, well, that
No,
should I'm not ready.
That's only one thing, sir.
Okay, please continue.
Judge, I got one more I need to bring up here in a second.
Well, we'll talk.
Okay.
Let's talk about our sterile screw worm fly project that y'all are all aware we've been working on since last June or July. It's kind of at a standstill right now. We have gotten a number from Conoco. It's a secret squirrel number, though, on what they want for the facility. We can't release it to the public. But they've talked to me about abatement here, abatement there, and I said, well, y'all don't really have anything in B County. I said, yes, we do. Well, I went to the tax office and had them pull their taxes, and I was shocked. They're paying us a little over $1.3 million a year in taxes. And I said, I just don't remember that happening in B County. And they said, well, it's because we bought Marathon's wells and Burlington's wells. And those wells are in B County. So Conoco is paying a lot of money to B County as far as taxes every year, a little over $1.3 million. which we really appreciate. They've been good neighbors. Road and Bridge update. You can't say enough about Road and Bridge. They're always on the job. They're always doing their job. We call them as commissioners. The public calls them as commissioners. They react as quickly as they can. They've done potholes in North B County. They've done this, they've done that, and thanks again to Road and Bridge. They do a great job. They don't ask for anything. They don't complain. They just do their job, and that is appreciated. Okay, I have a shout out this morning to Miss Frances Melvin. I wanted to go take a tour, go look at the work that Commissioner Oliver's been doing at the old sheriff's office and jail. I went down there, and I was trying to be real, what would you say, incognito, just walk around and look at things, one thing, when I hear this, Commissioner DeWitt, it was Frances Melvin. So she gave me a personal tour of everything. I am so impressed with this lady, her construction knowledge, the way she worked with the contractor. She knows what's going on. It's interesting to find out when you deal directly with some of the people that work for the county, what a gem you have that you didn't even know was there because of the knowledge base that they have. So Ms. Melvin, thank you very much for what you do for the county, and thank you for your knowledge. You're doing good. You're doing good. The other thing I'd like to talk about is rain. We all got a little rain. Where Gwen and I live is just north of the country club. We got about 3/4 of an inch. Most areas in our locale got about an inch. Normanna got 3 inches. I was talking to Dave Cave a while ago. He said Tynan got about 1/10. So the farmers down there really could have used it, but there's a saying among farmers, okay, if it doesn't rain enough to make a crop, I don't want it to rain hardly at all so I can get the insurance. So maybe 1/10 is a blessing to them because there may or may not be any more coming anytime soon, but we'll take what we can get. I went to the ranch to feed, and not thinking about the rain, and it came down slow so it all went in, I got on an incline from my barn. Well, I couldn't move. My truck was sitting there spinning. I couldn't believe it. It didn't go down that deep, but I'm thinking, I'm gonna get stuck out here, and I'm gonna have to call somebody or go get that old tractor and fire it up and get out of here, but I got out. But it's hard to believe because there's no vegetation and all you have is dirt, and that slow rain, that dirt is like mud. So hopefully we'll get some more. Get some more. Judge, I can probably bring up a few more things.
Go ahead.
Right now, I think that's gonna be about it.
Well, since you went ahead and shut it down prematurely.
Yes, sir.
I'd say. Commissioner Olivares, you said you had something you wanted to
I
add?
do. I have some more recognition, primarily for you, Judge, as well.
Oh,
So,
wow. Well, take all the
the-
time you need. Sit back. Is
Do
the
a
press
pic-
here? Can we get the cameras
pictures?
rolling?
Anyhow, the water situation is serious, and, and I think the court does take this very seriously as well, too. Goliad held a special town hall meeting where most of the local county judges were in attendance. Judge, thank you for attending that meeting. I attended remotely, but I'm going to defer my comments as far as the detail of the meeting went well. So, Judge, thank you for going on our behalf. We
Oh, thank
appreciate
you
it.
very much. I appreciate that, Commissioner. Well, I guess I'll tell you all about that. No, it was really nice. It was nice of Judge Bennett over in Goliad County to host the event. It was largely a panel discussion made up mostly of constituents from Goliad County, but again, the Refugio County Judge, Aransas County Judge, San Patricio County Judge, myself. I don't think any other county judge, and I apologize to all county judges that I may have omitted. And then we also had our Texas Railroad Commissioner,
Jim.
Jim Wright.
Jim Wright.
Jim Wright was there, and he's been a great supporter of South Texas, especially for those of y'all that don't know. He's actually lives in Orange Grove, so he's literally at ground zero for the water issue. Unfortunately, there's not a lot to be decided or discussed in any meaningful context with an aim to impact what's going on right now with the city of Corpus Christi and their efforts to continue to provide water to the constituents of Corpus Christi. But it was odd, and I didn't get the opportunity to say this at the panel discussion, although I wanted to. Goliad County, like B County, is a wonderful South Texas rural county. I guess really they're almost our county mother, since part of B County was Goliad County originally, right? One of the counties that B County was carved out of. So I found it odd that on a panel of mostly Republican elected officials in a deeply conservative part of the country and the state, there were a lot of discussion, desires, and hopes by our constituents, our ranchers, our farmers, our small town residents, requesting, asking, demanding for local, state, or federal oversight. What that means to me is when we ask the state legislature to come in and assist us, we're in effect asking a governmental entity to regulate us. And in many instances, it can be positive, but it's incredibly important that everybody involved understands and appreciates and maintains as a part of the foundation of any discussion that we have, that when we invite regulation, that is a double-edged sword. Yes, we can utilize it to get our neighbors to do something that we want them to do. But the reality is, we also will be further restrained from doing what we want to do on our own private property. And so it's a weird line that all parties involved must walk. The desire to prevent Corpus Christi from taking advantage of opportunities that are 100% legal under Texas law, which form part of the foundation of the very idea of private property rights in Texas. When we prevent them from being able to do that, there will be collateral consequences. There will be restrictions in our ability to manage our own resources. The same is true if Commissioner DeWitt and I were neighbors out in the country. He had a well and I had a well, and I decided that what he was doing somehow negatively impacted me. Texas law has recourse available for that. If I jump around the recourse that I have available, there will be changes. And I think it's really important as we get into a situation that seems and appears and probably is increasingly dire, that we take into account what rights we may have to give up in order to receive the relief that we think we want. And I think oftentimes when we find ourselves in these moments of crisis, and we see it every day, especially at the state and federal level, when we have these moments of crisis, we tend to overcorrect. We tend to give up more than we really thought we were giving up. And once it's gone, it's gone. So a coalition of the regional entities that address this issue is really where we should try to go. But understand as also that B County and San Patricio County, not even including Nueces County, B County and San Patricio, I'm not picking on San Pat, I picked on them as well. I used them as the example at the round table. It could be B County and Goliad County, B County and Live Oak County. While we are all usually aligned 100% in all of our desires, wishes, hopes, and dreams, when it comes to anything that flows under the surface of the land and is subject to the rule of capture, they are, in effect, our competitor for a shared natural resource. And so I'm hopeful that cooler heads will prevail. I'm hopeful that any state or federal incursion into what is usually the province of municipalities and water providers and private property owners dealing with their own assets, right? The surface owner of an estate, the surface owner of dirt, owns the water that's underneath it. That we keep that in mind as well, and so that we don't cut off our nose to spite our face. Very difficult issue. We are a little bit on the sidelines, as Commissioner Olivares And Commissioner DeWitt illuminated or illustrated, however, although we are adjacent to the direct dispute, we are impacted by it. We are impacted by every barrel of water that comes out of the ground in San Patricio County, because what comes out of the ground in San Patricio County is also accessible by us. So that's a long, rambling way of saying things are difficult, and sometimes we have to be careful what we wish for, because what we wish for is not really what we want. So we continue to monitor the situation. We definitely support San Patricio County in its efforts to find reasonable protections and accommodations to be made so that their other ranchers and farmers and landowners that are not selling their water to the city of Corpus Christi are still able to obtain resources that are still able to maintain their usage of a resource that they've come to enjoy, expect, and understand is present under their land, as well as for all of our B County farmers, ranchers, and residents. That was a lot more than I wanted to say, and so I'm done. I'm not going to open the floor for questions.
Could I add something to that?
Of course you can add something, as long as I don't have to repeat.
No. To add a little bit to what the judges said, B County doesn't regulate water wells. We do regulate septic systems, but not water wells. I had a constituent call me a couple of weeks ago, they put in a water well. Is there anything I need to do with the county? No, you don't need to do with the county. He called me back a few days ago and said, hey, you forgot to tell me that I had to register it with the water district. I said, your water well driller normally does that. He said, no, it has to be registered with the local water district, which you contact through the Farm Bureau office. So if you're out there and you're getting ready to drill a water well, there is some registration involved. Your water well driller, when they drill that well, when they do their well log, it goes to Austin. They've got all that stuff in records in Austin. They know exactly what's going on. In the 1940s, there was a grant statewide, and they surveyed every existing water well in Texas and put it in a book. It's a book about this thick. I have a copy somewhere. I haven't relocated it. My uncle's wells down at Tynan were all listed. It shows the water strata, the sands, and everything else. But that is a valuable book, and it was done for every county in Texas. So it could become more valuable as we get further along, because it shows how much the water table is going down. To piggyback on what the judge said about an aquifer, now think about an aquifer. There's going to be a high end of an aquifer and a low end. If they're drawing the water from the low end and you're on the high end, your water table is going to go down. From what I read, that's happening to Orange Grove as we speak. The city of Corpus has got a well farm 10 or 15 miles northwest of Orange Grove. They're in the same aquifer, and Orange Grove's water system is dropping. There's 1,000 people live there, and they rely on a water well. So with the railroad commissioner being there, I'm sure they're watching it very closely. But if you're on the high end of an aquifer and they're drawing on the low end, like the judge says, we're all in this thing together. Thank you, sir.
Oh, yes, sir, of course. Anything further?
No, a lot of details, and I'm glad you articulated, be careful what you ask for, because it may not be what you really want.
Well, I appreciate, hopefully I articulated it. I started to feel that, and this is often the case for me, folks in the audience. One, I'm a sucker for an audience that can't say anything so that I can just keep talking to my heart's content. Stream of consciousness, right? We'll take it back to the 1950s and the Beats. But I always know when I've repeated myself 2 or 3 times that I should just stop talking. And every now and then I take my own advice. So, anything further? Hearing none, moving.
Sir.
Oh, yeah, okay, good. Yeah, much to the relief of everybody in attendance, the judge stopped talking. Agenda item number 6, public comment. Are there any members of the public who wish to address Commissioners Court? I know we have at least 2. You're ready. I'll save you for next. Yes, ma'am. Please come down. Come up to the lectern. Identify yourself for the court's record, and then proceed to tell us what you got.
So good morning, Judge, Commissioners. My name is Pam Hernandez. I'm with Real Transportation. I'd like to introduce Kathy Black. She is a part of my department now. She is a mobility manager. She is part of the mobility management department. Again, what mobility management is for Real Transportation is going out and educating and informing the public of the important resource of public transportation that's available to them. And to try to help me break the misconception that people see our vehicles and think it's just for seniors and persons with disabilities. It is public transportation. We're doing great. And before I go on, I want to thank each and every one of you for your continued support. And I always look forward to coming to the Commissioners Court here in B County because it's very informative and very transparent, and I appreciate that. We cover 9 counties. I go to Commissioners Court at all the 9 counties, and this is one of my favorites, so thank you. You are very informative, and I appreciate that. Going back to Kathy, Kathy's a huge asset to us. She's from the area, and so whenever we interviewed her, it was a highlight to me that she was part of B County. When we told her that we were in the beginning stages of having a new office here, she was very excited. And, you know, we told her we have our Real Flash here, part of our microtransit, which is also doing very well. You know, it's great to see the program growing. So I have grassroots leadership right here. She's part of the community, and it gives me great pleasure sitting here and seeing her talking to everyone, and she knows everyone. It gives me great comfort knowing that Beeville, B County, and her northern region will be well taken care of. I wanted to come and just give you a quick update and let you know that we're doing well. We'll be at the state of the college here coming up on the 21st and be part of that. I was able to meet the president there of CBC at a economic development meeting that we had in Jim Wells County. So we look forward to expanding our services and providing what we can to CBC, to the students. They have a lot of students that are here that don't have transportation. Maybe they're international students. So we're going to be working with the college to see what we can better do for them. We also have been working closely with the B County Chamber of Commerce. Some of you know that they have their leadership class. They'll be going into their 6th session. This will be taking place this Thursday. They'll be going out to the Halo, Christus Spawn. They'll be doing a visit at La Amistad Adult Daycare and the Graham Assisted Living. In the past couple of trips, we've been assisting them, taking them to CBC, St. Mary's, St. Philip, City Hall, here at the courthouse, the B Area Partnership downtown, Chasefield, and ConocoPhillips. This is amazing, and what Ms. Munoz is doing there at the chamber, we're glad that we can be a part of this and helping them provide the transportation. But I also have to throw my little key in. I love that the leadership group gets to experience being on one of our units. They get to see the inside, they get the ride of it, they get the feel of it. This is important. This is important because leadership, as yourselves that have been on our units, it's important that you tell your constituents what's available to them. Let them know it's a comfortable ride, it's clean, the drivers are courteous, and we get you there on time. Our job is to continue to provide public transportation for B County and the surrounding 8 counties, and to always let you know that we are there. We continue to appreciate your support, and you'll be seeing Kathy a lot more and myself as I pop in. I have another mobility manager who's covering our southern region, and Kathy will be with the north region. So I'll be popping in, and Martin, our director, sends his hellos to you. So again, glad to see everyone, and just want to say thank you, and we're always a phone call away.
Thank you so much.
I know we can't interact, but I bet
can't.
they want to give us their phone number, right?
That'd be great.
361-668-3158. Thank you so much. Appreciate all of you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for being here this morning. How are you, Mr. Blair? Come on down.
Thank you.
Excellent. Identify yourself and then
Yes.
give us the update.
Michael Blair, Executive Director of the Bee Development Authority, resident of Beeville. wanted to come at Commissioner Farias's request today and give some exciting news that the Bee Development Authority and Chase Field are the latest, it is the first airport in 15 years to enter the Texas Airport System Plan. There's been a little bit of headlines about that, so I'll try not to repeat anything, but there's 3 ways that airports in this state generally make money. More, but three general buckets: rent, gas, and grants. So where this particular mark, and I was talking with Laura Fisher, this has been a long time goal of the BDA. I'm excited that we've been able to accomplish it in my first 365 days on the job. But what that means is this is the first federal or state money funding contribution to the Bee Development Authority since the closure of the Naval Air Station Chase Field in 1993. These state funds will provide critical reimbursements, entitled even, would be a good word for it, to about $100,000 a year in reimbursed maintenance costs as it relates to the airfield, with eligibility now for 90-10 grant matches. And I think that's something that people haven't necessarily always understood about kind of the Bee Development Authority and its Bee Development Authorities in the past, is that every dollar that the BDA has had to spend comes out of the BDA's pocket. Now, with this new partnership with the state, we are putting ourselves in a situation where we maybe only have to come up with 10% of the funds to do some of the things that really do need to happen on, say, capital improvements and to kind of spur other economic development opportunities at the airfield. So I do want to thank our state delegation, Senator Hinojosa and Representative Lozano, for their support of this TxDOT action. And I also want to thank my particular board members who have been supportive of, all of the things I've been doing since I got here. My county ones in particular, Commissioner Farias, Pete Patel, Jody Alanis, and Frank Dominguez, who are all appointed by this court to my board. Obviously, we have a lot more work to do, but this is a great first start that now we have moved the BDA into where we check 2 out of the 3 buckets for generally how do airports get funded. So, Judge, I appreciate that this is also, just like you like an audience that can't talk back, so do I. So, but I'll be brief and just say if there is anything that I can do to be partnering with any of you personally on any of your initiatives, please don't hesitate to make sure to reach out to me. I know everybody has my cell phone.
Thank you, Michael. Excellent job. We're so glad you're here. Can I put you and your newlywed wife on the spot? And do you mind? Would you introduce your lovely new wife to us?
I probably should have started there, but I'm still only 2
You're
weeks. I'm
welcome.
only 2 weeks in marriage, so not an expert. But this is my wife,
Courtney Blair. So there's 3 government documents now that document that's her last name and everything. So, but yes, I'm very lucky and very much outkicked my coverage. So, Judge, thank you for acknowledging that. So we had a lovely wedding 2 weeks ago in Fredericksburg, which obviously, which Commissioner Farias was kind enough to attend, and so very happy to continue building here in Bee County.
Excellent. Well, welcome and congratulations to you.
Michael, can I give you some marriage advice real quick? Okay, I've been married 57 years, so learn to say I'm sorry and yes, dear.
We'll get that practice
Got it,
in about
mate.
3 seconds here, I think.
Thank you. Is there anybody else? Oh, Mrs. Franco,
Bronco.
come on down.
Good morning, I'm Carrie Franco. I am the director of the 36th Judicial District Juvenile Probation Department. Bee County is one of my counties I oversee. I wanted to come and share a recognition that we received as our department, and it's thanks to y'all's support. Back in October, I had a conversation with the executive director of TJJD about community service, and it's not always just picking up trash. And she remembered that conversation, and in January, I tasked my probation officers, and I said, I want projects for spring break. Our kids aren't gonna stay home, we're gonna do something with them for the week of spring break. We got to spring break, and TJG contacted me and says, we wanna showcase your community service project in our newsletter for everybody to see. And that's what they did. But I wanna share with you guys what our kids did that week. On Monday, we went out to Texas A&M Kingsville. We took the kids. They got to see what the college offers. They got to see that it's not just a classroom. There's so much more down there. The kids ate a great lunch and they went home. They came back the next day. We took them out to the Goose Island State Park and they picked up trash. They trimmed bushes for the park. One of the things the kids were surprised was how much trash was at the park. They were like, where does this all come from? From everybody that comes. After that, the Texas Parks and Wildlife treated them to an archery session, which they enjoyed, ate a good lunch, and they came back on Wednesday to see us again. Some of these kids no longer had community service to do, but they were still coming because they were invested in what we were doing for them. On Wednesday, we were out at Camp Erasmus out in Aransas County. The kids learned team building, communication. They learned to overcome fears. One of the things is you climb up this ladder and you go down the zip line and you jump off. I'm not going to do it, but those kids would, and they enjoyed it. They got to do archery. They were fishing, and some of those kids would hold a fish up like this big. You would have think they were holding a 10-pound fish. It was a little perch, but they were proud of their fish. And they learned, you know what, there's other things out there besides what they were doing. On Thursday, Sam Pat allowed us to use their dome, and we did a VR, virtual reality career exploration with those kids. It is a very neat program that we offer our kids. They can explore all kinds of different careers. The kids did that along with another communication group. They learned how to talk and to be a voice for themselves and advocate for themselves. This is what our kids did during spring break. It is not typically just picking up trash off the side of the road. It was something else. We invested in our kids. It was a pathway to potential for those children. I cannot thank this court enough for your support that gets us to be able to do those things. And I want to thank Judge Morrill for sitting on board and the things that he does for us too. So I just wanted to share that with you. I did speak to Candy. She's going to put on an agenda so you can actually have the article, but I wanted to share with you what we did for spring break for our kids in B County.
Thank you so much,
Very
Chair.
good.
Thank you.
Very good, excellent, excellent.
Anybody else? All right, I guess we'll move on. Then those were 3 wonderful public comments. There is no obligation. Well, 2 have already bailed. You're welcome to stay. You have no obligation. If you want to get up and leave, you may do so. Agenda item number 7. The following items are of an administrative nature. Commissioners Court has been furnished documentation on each item, and all such items may be acted upon by one vote without being discussed separately unless requested by a commissioner or county judge.
Move to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Is there any need to pull, or no, I'm sorry, forget I said anything. Oh, I remember, on this agenda item, I did just want to note to Commissioners Court and the public at large that we are, once we take this vote, we will, once we take this vote, we will be approving Commissioners Court meeting minutes from March 23rd, 2026, which is less than a month ago.
Wow.
It has been a Herculean task over the course of the 6 years that I've been on Commissioners Court. We have never routinely been this up to date. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you to the clerk's office for your efforts, because I know it was a big effort, and I just think it's really important. We make decisions here, folks, and we discuss and we decide and we vote on things. But until we vote to approve what we already, the written recitation of what we've already done, we put the county operationally into a bind. And so it's so incredibly important that we stay up to date, and it merits acknowledging and recognizing you for your efforts. So thank you, Cindy.
We can actually remember some of the comments we made. That was great.
Speak for yourself.
Oh.
Especially
You're a
about
judge.
this.
When you start on your soliloquies.
They're prepared. So now with that perfect memory in place, if there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Moving on, discuss and consider action on the following items. Agenda item number 8, approve combined subdivision participation and release form for settlement agreements in the Texas opioid litigation case number 2018-63587. This is We've been involved in a statewide opioid lawsuit, obviously since 2018. Beginning, I think, probably about 3 years ago, we started receiving partial settlements from some of the myriad defendants. This, I think, captures almost all of the remaining defendants, is that? Yes, so we're kind of trailing down. This will result in funds being paid to B County. It's not a huge amount, but every little bit counts. And so us approving this morning allows our attorneys, gives our attorneys direction so they can move forward with the process, include us in the settlement, and so we can work towards an orderly resolution of this long-term dispute.
Move to approve the comment.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Commissioner
My
Olivares,
comment
you
is,
want it?
I'm one of these people, a dollar is a dollar is a dollar. If we don't get but one more dollar, that's a dollar we didn't have yesterday. So,
Yes, sir.
thank you.
All
That's
those, that's it?
That's it.
Okay, I was waiting. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 9, approve appreciation proclamation for B County dispatchers.
Move to approve.
I have a motion to approve, and I have a second.
Judge, I recommend someone, not me, read this in the record. It is excellent.
Okay, wonderful. I'm going to assign that task to Commissioner Fidias.
Thank
Well, you seconded. Thank you, Commissioner. The world is watching.
B County Commissioners Court. The men and women serving the public telecommunications, 911. Yes?
No, just keep going. You're doing great. Come on, let's support him, class.
Operators, dispatchers, and other communication specialists are dedicated to saving lives. The National Public Safety Telecommunications Dispatchers Day was initially set up in 1981 by the sheriff in Contra Costa County, which later grew into a national week-long event. These professionals are the unseen heroes that provide critical assistance to all B County emergency responders, law enforcement agencies, fire departments throughout the county, Halo Flight, ambulance services in times of great need. In their specialized skills, calm presence, and providing critical response information on what the incident, electronic CAD mapping, information on the designation and radio coordination throughout the incident. At this time, we, the Commissioners Court of B County, Texas, encourage all citizens to extend their appreciation to the public safety telecommunicators, also known as B County Sheriff 911 dispatchers, for their diligent efforts to ensure that help is on the way when it's needed the most. Now, therefore, we, the Commissioners Court of B County, Texas, do hereby proclaim this week of April 12th through the 18th, 2026, to be National Public Safety Telecommunicators Dispatchers Week.
Excellent job. Thank you
Let's-
very much.
Let's give them a standing ovation.
Well, wait,
Okay.
wait, not
Wait.
quite yet, just yet. Mr. Cave, you had brought this to the courts, to my attention last week. Do you have anything you'd like to add? Okay, please, come on forward. You know the drill. That was amazing.
I'm David Cave, and I'd like to thank the judge and the commissioners for taking this time to recognize our emergency dispatchers. We do have a couple, we have several here. If you don't mind, could y'all just stand up for the folks to see? These are the people you never see that's on the telephone when you call in, so appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I thought that was good.
I think so.
That's right. Thank you.
I would like to say,
we
as
have a
Commissioner
fancy
DeWitt
copy to
says,
sign?
and now the rest of the story.
Okay, well,
Did you know, before the standardized 911, I recognize that pose. Before the standardized 911 system was around in the U.S., typically people had to dial 0 to reach an operator for help or dial specific 7-digit local numbers for the police department, the fire, or the ambulance services. So emergency calls relied on reaching a human operator who would then contact several services, one department at a time. When people had to look up local police or fire department numbers in phone books, which was slow and inefficient at the time. In some rural areas with without quick access to operators, individuals sometimes used unorthodox methods including sirens or loud noises to alert neighbors of an emergency. Thus, some towns like Beeville had a central siren in the town that sounded. Did you also know that the 911 system was chosen by AT&T in 1967 and adopted because it was unique, easy to remember, and back then, easy to dial on rotary phones? The first 911 call was made on February the 16th, 1968 in Haleyville, Alabama, which was the first state to implement the system and was slowly adopted throughout the U.S., state by state. In March 1973, the White House Office of Telecommunications issued a national policy statement which recognized the benefits of 911. In 1979, approximately 26% of the population of the United States had 911 service. By the end of the year 2000, nearly 93% of the population of the United States was covered by some type of 911 service. There are many, many types of 911 emergencies, and dispatchers are trained to respond to all of them, from broken bones to burning buildings to hostage situations, and every emergency dispatcher must know how to respond to each of them quickly and accurately, sending out the proper code and information to the appropriate first responders. When an emergency situation arises, dispatchers have to know what to do based on the caller's information at any given moment. Oftentimes, the caller with emergency is frantic, disoriented, or unable to communicate clearly for a number of reasons. So these dispatchers must quickly construct a plan of action based on fragmented information he or she is being given on the other end. However, dispatchers are trained to accurately instruct the callers as to what they should do in the given situation, or answering specific questions which will inform the proper response teams, which will give them essential details of unknown dangers before the arrival on the scene. Here are a few key points that we need to remember that dispatchers need. In other words, is a person hurt or in danger? Do you need the police, fire, or ambulance? If you do call 911 by mistake, do not hang up. If you hang up, they will have to try to call you back. So stay on the line even if it's an accident. And 911 call takers are trained to get the most information as quickly as possible to help get help on the way for the emergency situation. In emergencies, allow the caller to ask you all, which is the dispatchers, before you hang up or leave the phone. Listen and answer all the questions asked. By doing this, it does help the dispatcher understand your situation and will assist you and your emergency until the appropriate police, fire, or medical units arrive. Most importantly, they always need to know the location. The wireless 911 caller must be aware that the 911 center that answers the call may not be the 911 center that service for that area. I know in Tynan, there's times that you can call 911 and it ends up going to Sinton. So again, they don't know where you are. When we have the landlines, it was easier to trace, so keep that in mind. If you're not sure where you are, look for landmarks, cross streets, signs, and buildings. Know the name of the city or county you're in. Knowing the location is vital to getting the appropriate police, fire, or EMS units to respond. Providing an accurate address is critically important when making a 911 call. And another very, very important thing that's paid off in past, make sure your children know how to call 911. Be sure they know what 911 is, how to dial it on your home or your home phone or your cell phone, and to trust the 911 dispatcher. Make sure your child is physically able to reach at least one phone in your home. When calling 911, your child needs to know their name, their parent's name, and mommy and daddy doesn't help the dispatcher. So knowing their father or their family's name is great. Their telephone number, and most importantly, their address. Tell them to answer all the call takers' questions and stay on the phone until instructed otherwise by the dispatcher. Another thing for the emergency responders, when they come out, post your address clearly and prominently at the entrance on your post, at your home. Posting your 911 address at the driveway entrance and on your home will alleviate any confusion whether emergency responders have the correct address. Try using something reflective or illuminated so it can be seen, and mostly if you're out in the country and you have an entrance gate and your house sits way off, if you can have someone at the front waving, or even if you live in the city, having somebody standing out when an ambulance, police, or fire get there. But one of the most important things I can say personally is, another recommendation is keep a paper or card at your home, in the kitchen, or in a notebook in the house with important phone numbers, addresses written on it, and if in rural areas, special landmarks if your home sits off the road. This way, when you're in that frantic mode, you're able to, even your phone number or your address, your mind is jumbled up and they're needing to know that information. If you or your family or your children have that and it says everything on there, here's what my address is, sounds simple, but from personal experience, you get frantic. Have that where they can read it off and then tell them just what to do. So have that information for your home, reflective. I'm out there by the red barn, you turn at the big oak tree, you know what I'm talking about, Commissioner. Landmarks are important when they're going out there. And if you say we're 2.5 miles from 673 or something like that, that's gonna be specific. So again, we can't thank you enough, thank the dispatchers enough for what they do.
Thank you, Mr. Cave. Dispatchers, would you do us the favor and honor of coming down and allowing a photograph to be taken?
They would be happy.
We want to take a photo with y'all, is what I'm trying to say.
Commissioner. 10 o'clock.
Oh, thank you for the reminder. And let's move quickly, please. You've got 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mayor.
I saw yours and second.
I was close to saying something. We're gonna have you closed on. Thank you very much.
At least it wasn't one of these.
And please extend our appreciation to all of your fellow dispatchers that weren't able to attend today.
Judge, I do have one more to add to that, 30 seconds.
Better hurry.
When you do call, or if you need to call 911, make sure you have a list of medication that individual that they're calling on, to have that information is pretty vital. So if you have one, sick or not sick, that's going to be one of the first questions. You know, print it out, have it by the phone, have it by the door, medical information.
Perfect. That was less than 30 seconds. Thank you. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. We are nearing a 10 o'clock time. We're within 60 seconds. Thank you all again. Please be safe going back to your place of employment or to your home if you are on your day off. It is now 10 a.m. I'm going to jump a couple agenda items down to agenda item number 12, public hearing pursuant to Texas Transportation Code, Chapter 253, entitled County Improvement of Subdivision Roads, Vernon's 2003, to consider setting speed limit to 15 miles per hour MPH and placement of slow church zone 15 mile per hour speed limit sign on Cockade Street and Frio Street in Tynan, Texas. The time is 10 a.m., subpart A. I'm opening the public hearing. Are there any members of the public who wish to address Commissioners Court with respect to this matter? I'll ask one more time, just in case anybody missed in the back of the room. Is there anybody who wishes to address Commissioners Court with respect to the subject matter of this agenda item? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on closing the public hearing? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. And the final part of agenda item number 12, Part B, is there any action, any motions to take any action at this time?
Yes, Judge, I'd like to add that when they do put up the signs, one of the things that's been working very well is a red perimeter around the sign. If we can get that done, it'd be perfect. That definitely highlights the caution.
It's really catching people's attention. It really is it's doing good.
Okay, no further action necessary for this agenda item. We will move on to, we'll go back in the agenda, back to agenda item number.
Lady in the back.
Oh, thank y'all very much. Thank you very much. We were having, yeah, that's a great idea. Do we have a new bailiff in the audience today? Hi, who are you?
Caitlin,
Hey, Caitlin, how are you? I'm Trey Small. It's nice to meet you.
I'm good. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead. That's great. We're gonna have a little discussion here. We're going off book. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Caitlin.
I'm from George West, and I just got out of the CCPD Police Academy, and I'll be here part-time until about June, and then I'll be leaving to go work for Waco PD. So, just getting some
Do
experience.
you realize we're gonna work your tail feathers off till June?
Go for
No,
it.
no. Yeah, we're gonna work. It's gonna be really easy, right? So,
Yeah.
it's super easy. Well, we're so glad that you're here with us and that you're gonna be helping out in the courthouse. I'm looking forward to getting to know you. And I wish you luck in all your future endeavors. I'm sure you're going to work out great, and so we're going to hate to see you go. And I'm sure that at that point in time, the sheriff and chief deputy would be more than willing to reconsider your desire to leave our beautiful little community. But
Yes, sir.
welcome, and thank you for being here. Congratulations on your recent graduation as well.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 10, approve 2027 B County resolution authorizing submission of grant application to the Texas Indigent Defense Commission for the Indigent Defense Improvement Grant Program.
Move to approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? We do this every year, folks. Long and short of it is in partnership with TIDC, in strong partnership with TIDC, without which we would not have this resource. I can't understate how important that entity is to B County and to our budget. We go through this process every year. We have a public defender. It's a third-party contractor. The majority of the fee that we pay to have that public defender in B, Live Oak, and McMullen counties is paid for by TIDC. This time of year, we go through the grant proposal and application process, and that's what this stage is. Moving forward, depending on how that grant goes, depending on how the services that the county receives and the other counties receive from our contractor, which is called Texas Rio Grande, TRGP. Yeah, thank you. Texas Rio Grande Public Defender Office will engage in contract renewal discussions with them shortly. So it's an important part of our process, and it's a great resource that TIDC makes available to B County. So I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Agenda item number 11, approve expo request for auditorium fee waiver from the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Garza East Unit for the annual Christmas party, December 12th, 2026.
Move to approve.
I've got a motion. I've got a second. Further discussion? Anything we need to know?
Everything's great.
Awesome. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 13, approve B County District Attorney's request to use B County credit card for hotel charges for the 2026 Annual Border Prosecutor Unit Conference in Fredericksburg in June and the Annual Criminal Law Conference in Waco in September.
Move to approve.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion?
Yes, sir, good morning. I just needed to add. For the auditor, Veronica Saldana, the chief of staff for the district attorney.
Yes, ma'am.
For the auditor, the Fredericksburg is in Barron Creek. And in Waco, it is the Hotel Indigo. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Saldana. Do we have any changes as a result of this new information? Do we need to pull this agenda item and take it under further consideration?
I think it'll go, sir.
Okay, well, if there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, Ms. Saldana, for that further specification. Agenda item number 14, approve resolution supporting B County regarding participation in law enforcement agreements with the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement 287G program, warrant service officer and task force model, and sheriff immigration law enforcement grant program, Senate Bill 8.
Move to approve.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Your Honor, this is something you guys have already approved. I had to make
I thought so.
an amendment to the resolution, and so that's what you have before you. I actually had an omission in the previous resolution that
Wonderful.
I've since been corrected.
Yeah, I saw it when it came across, and I wondered, I thought we already addressed at least a part of this issue. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Chief Deputy Kirk. Agenda item number 15, approve Texas Association of Counties Risk Management Pool B County Property Coverage 2026 Renewal Schedule.
Move to approve with a comment.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Commissioner DeWitt, you have the floor.
Yes, now, when we approve this, I don't know whether the folks out there have thought about how much B County owns, you as the citizens own. Everything that B County owns, the large items are on a list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the whole list. It's a little over $90 million. $90,800,000 worth of public property that B County owns. I just wanted to make that number known that, you know the courthouse, you know the jail. There are countless buildings, facilities, one thing or another, and it totals up over $19 million that B County Commissioners Court and staff are responsible for that belong to the public. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 16, approve resolution for the submission of an application for the restoration of the B County Courthouse under the Texas Historical Commission's Historic Courthouse Preservation Program. Commissioner Fadias, this is your agenda item, sir, right?
Yes, sir, it
Okay.
is, and it's part of the process of going forward with the restoration part. We have a resolution. Do you want the resolution read into
No.
4 minutes?
Oh, no.
Okay. All right.
Just, don't say, here's one if you need it.
Thank you, Commissioner.
What? No,
No, yeah, you're doing great.
no, this is all part of the steps going
You're the only one
forward
that signs it.
to get the courthouse fixed up. So it's in phases, it's in steps. This is one of these steps. So make a motion to approve this resolution.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Commissioner Fadias, for all you're doing on that program, too. Which really, we wouldn't be where we were if Commissioner Farias hadn't picked up the ball about 12, 18 months ago now, of course, along with our auditor's office. It is a comprehensive process, very detail-oriented, and unfortunately a necessity for B County to engage in because we previously utilized the Texas State Historical Commission funds to renovate our courthouse the last time. So, moving on, agenda item number 17, reconsider prior approval and direction to issue general obligation refunding bonds in the maximum amount of $18,475,000 and associated actions therewith for the purpose of potentially including in such amount additional funds to cover the expected county share of the courthouse renovations, subject to receipt by the county of a courthouse renovation grant from the Texas State Historical Commission. I'm going to go a little bit off-brand, and I'm going to provide a brief discussion to the court before I entertain a motion on this agenda item. And I apologize for the wordy nature of the agenda. I actually drafted it myself. You can send your congratulations to me on the beauty of adding so many large words into one short sentence at some point in time in the future. But the long and short of it is, Mrs. Cantu and her office were working with our bond specialist, Victor Quiroga, and the knowledge of the fact that with the courthouse renovation grant, there would be a county match of, is it 50%?
30%.
30%? Of 30%, and an expectation that the renovation that we'll be looking for will be, how much money?
Total of
It's gonna be 10 million.
$10 million total,
About
but
$10
it's
million
broken down in several
in
phases.
stages.
Yes.
But the bottom line, this is gonna be a large project, and we're going to have to pony up 30% of that $10 million or more. And so knowing that that is a large ticket item for which our tax revenue cannot in reasonable probability cover, that our reserves are not robust enough to simply pull from. The idea was floated that we can, our bonding consultants have said we can, and maybe we should, consolidate into our refinancing bond issuance, which is what we started working with them on when we built the new jail. We issued certificates of obligation. We've been paying those down, but in the current interest rate environment, the county could reduce the total amount of public funds necessary to repay that if we went through a refinancing. And so what the recommendation, or not the recommendation, what the request from me is to ask this court, we already voted to move forward with the new bond program for the refinancing of our original COs. What I'm asking, and we've, like I said, we've had this conversation, Mrs. Cantu and I, with Mr. Quiroga, is to hold off on that, to put a pause on that, to give the county the opportunity and the time to submit our grant application to the Texas State Historic Commission. If we are successful and we obtain that grant, then to go back to our bonding specialists, enroll the expected county share of that expense into the refinancing goal of the original bond concept that we came up with a month ago to refinance the new sheriff's office COs. As we understand it, the grant application process with the Texas State Historical Commission should be wrapping up in June of this year. So really what I'm asking for is just a couple months just to pause.
I think
that.
We have the first draft of the application.
We have it.
And once that's okay, then we'll move on with the second portion and getting the Maria getting the application.
Awesome, that's great. So,
Ms. Melvin, also, Judge, you said June. I believe that they'll award this in July.
my
July
apologies.
15th. I
Okay,
believe is
July
when they
15th.
award. So it's a
little bit longer.
swift, no, I mean, compared to the
quick
other
turnaround.
grants, that's a quick turnaround.
That
on
is a very
grants.
quick
Very
turnaround.
So, the easiest way to make sure that that whatever motion, if there is a motion to be made, would be made, I would humbly recommend that a motion is made to approve the agenda item as stated, just to try to make sure that we capture the concept and the goal. But the goal and what I'm asking for is to just slow down enough on the 18 million plus bond refinancing program to see if we can include, if we're successful with the courthouse renovation project, if we can include that grant amount and save the county the cost of going through two CO issuances.
Just a thought. There's also the possibility we may not get as much of the grant as we think. So this way we'll know the amount that we need whenever we get there.
Yes, sir, yeah, that's the other thing too.
I agree 100%.
We don't wanna issue
No,
COs based
no,
on an expectation of what we may have to pay. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
agree. I think this is excellent.
Thank you.
Good idea, somebody, you and the auditor had.
I don't know who to give credit to. That's what you always say, but we know that's not true.
It's a good idea.
It won't last too much longer, so I'll take all the kudos. I don't.
And with that, I'll move to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Thank you for digging me out of that hole I couldn't get out of. Credit, that's what I was gonna say. You're giving me credit for things I haven't earned. I don't know. I'm having a hard time today.
For me to get with, just the Lord, who would listen here at AA, or I could go presentation from my office. So that's what I did.
I did? Look at that. I may not recall it, but I did right.
And the bottom line, the renovations need to be, they've got to be made.
They do. They do. It is so difficult.
We don't have a choice.
That's a great point. For anybody that may be watching, for anybody that's sitting in the audience, although I know most of y'all are county employees or county related, we can't take action on this courthouse, aside from like the boiler and the air conditioning unit. We can't take action on the courthouse and improving it, fixing all the things that look bad in the courthouse, which may not deal with structural integrity, but don't look nice. We can't do it without approval from the Historic Commission, which means we have to hire specialized architects, like Mr. Komatsu, who came in, who's excellent at this, but they are charged, because we have this historic preservation easement on the property, they are charged with designing and planning for renovations that comply with construction
Following all of them.
as it existed back then. So it's incredibly complicated and difficult to proceed through. So that's why I'm so glad that Commissioner Farias has taken the charge on that. So that's
And
a
all
very
the,
good
all
clarification.
the, all the things that we're doing, like the boiler, it all adds points to our, I mean, it's moving us up the line as
Yeah.
far as us getting the grant.
Let's
You know,
hope
because
so.
we're making a good effort to keep the building up.
I might add too, that this grant was not available until recently, that they started realizing that the renovations they did to courthouses around the state many, many years ago with the first grant are needing some repairs, let's say. So they came up with a new set of grants, so this grant is brand stinking new. It wasn't there a couple of years
They
ago.
added 4 million to it,
Yeah.
to the existing grant that we had done in 2000.
Yeah.
You know, so,
Because the original work was what, 2,000 you said?
2004? 2004, and then there was a change, and it just kind of stopped.
Well, and like any house, anybody that owns a house knows you've got to keep it up, and that's where we are. There's some things that have to be done.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes, sir. Thank you all. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 18, approve the update of the county auditor's policies and procedure manual to incorporate the grant management policy as a formal addendum.
Move to approve?
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Commissioner
I have
DeWitt, you have the
a
floor.
Let's see, is this license number, what number are we at?
We're at 18.
18, yes. On page 123, I don't see it, but I see this stuff, they talk about prepare M and C for grant amendments. I don't know what M and C is, and if somewhere near that first M and C, it's item number 3 toward the bottom of the page, just put in parentheses what M and C stands for.
Is it contained somewhere else in the,
If it is, I didn't, it
policy.
may be, but I didn't see it.
what does it stand for?
I don't know.
Is it M and, should it be an M and O?
Well, it says, isn't that M and C, Judge?
Yeah, no, I agree with you
We
100%.
borrowed, right?
Certainly.
If you will, so that's a, something you bring that one, we'll put that.
What does it mean, though? I don't know either.
Look at it,
Good catch, Commissioner.
Prepare M and Cs for grant amendments.
But I don't think it needs to come back, it's just, we need to know what it is.
Clarify it.
You know, and what you normally do, the first time it's used, you have in parentheses, and you explain what it is, and then after that, it can just be the initials.
And it could have been in a prior, document that this was.
whatever it
Those
is.
are three very dissimilar documents.
Whatever it is, if you'll put it in that document, I would appreciate it.
So subject to, I do have a motion and a second already. Commissioner Fidias, would you be willing to consider, are there any other?
No, sir, that was it.
Willing to consider amending your motion to approve the manual, subject to clarification of or removal of that particular highlighted component on packet page 123 of our agenda.
I see it in there twice.
I'll amend my second.
The motion is so, no, you're the
Okay,
motion.
I'll amend that to include or clarify.
So amended, so
Okay.
Commissioner Fidias amends his motion in conformance with the comments that I just made. Commissioner Olivares, would you consider amending your
Yes, I
second?
consider amending my second.
And do you?
I do.
Okay, excellent, thank you.
Andale.
Dale, guys.
Okay, we have an amended motion and a second, and any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. I think this is great and great development. Thank you again for continuing to add meaningful value to the auditor's department by increasing the process specifications and control.
I read that. It's an excellent policy, the way it's written. It's excellent. It really is. Good job.
With our grant, to keep us in.
Yeah.
Policy, which is included, yeah, I noticed.
Along with the M&Z.
I have a feeling I'm going to have a future agenda item request from Commissioner DeWitt for a discussion about the context of M&C. Okay, moving on. Agenda item number 19, approve termination of the memorandum of understanding MOU between the Sheriff's Office and the Road and Bridge Department for use of the 2004 Ford F-150 pickup vehicle identification number 1FTPW12554KC85588, which will be returned to the Sheriff's Office with the termination of the MOU.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. We have no executive session items, so we move on to agenda item number 20, adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
And it looks like our seconder isn't present today, so
Second.
I thought we were just going to sit here.
I'll take this.
Commissioner DeWitt's with the second. Any further discussion? Thank you all for a wonderful meeting today. Really appreciated all of our public speakers. That was really, really good information. And we are adjourned. Did we vote?